In today's video, we're going to be discussing the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're 2 games into the new regular season for 27-18, and things haven't gone very well. We're going to discuss what's gone wrong and what they should do to fix it. And that's coming up next. What's going on? My name is Mike and welcome back to Top Shelf Hockey. If you're just browsing through and this is your first time here, on this channel we discuss the NHL hockey and all the time. We cover all 31 teams with an unbiased opinion. So if you want to keep up with the latest news, scores, game recaps, trades, top 10 videos, you name it, we got it covered. So consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. Alright, diving into this video's content, let's discuss the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know it's early in the season, we're only 2 games in. The Penguins started the year with a back-to-back performance. First, they started at home against the St. Louis Blues, where they get to raise the Stanley Cup banner, and unfortunately had a 5-4 overtime loss. Then last night, they had to go on the road to the Madhouse on Madison in Chicago, where things went horribly wrong, and they lost 10-1. That was quite a shocker. I'm not completely shocked that Chicago won the game. They're a pretty solid team. However, I don't think I recall in any recent memory seeing the Penguins get blown out like that. It was completely crazy and unexpected. In the first 2 games, the Penguins have given up 78 shots and 15 goals. Now, in last night's game, in the 10-1 blowout to the Hawks, they played backup goalie Antti Niemi. Obviously, he was yanked. I believe it was after the 5 goals. Matt Murray took over. Things didn't really get any better. As a team, they just fell apart. So yes, goaltending was not great. Obviously, Niemi had a very poor outing in his Penguin debut. But I think there's a lot of underlying factors that might have played along with that. So what needs to change for the Pens to improve? Well, first of all, I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube here where some people saying that perhaps Mike Sullivan might find himself in the hot seat. I find that hard to believe. It's way too soon to be discussing Mike Sullivan being in the hot seat. He's had a tremendous amount of success, back-to-back championships. I believe the Penguins will be very patient with him. Now, if the whole season goes horribly wrong, you never know. Teams tend not to have too much patience with coaches, as is obviously the easiest thing to fix and change. But I certainly don't see that as an option right now. Obviously, with the departure of Marc-Andre Fleury and the signing of Antti Niemi, they've certainly taken a major downgrade in net. Obviously, Matt Murray certainly has a lot of potential. Being 2 years into the league with 2 Stanley Cups, who's to say he won't turn out to continue being a top goaltender? However, slow starts happen. I don't think he's got anything too much to worry about. He's certainly their goaltender of the future. However, he can't play every game. That's just the way it is. They need a stronger backup. Not sure Niemi's the answer. They could certainly look to something as simple as looking at the waiver wire. I know the Vegas Golden Knights, for whatever strange reason, had Calvin Pickard on waivers, which is kind of surprising, but I guess we'll see what happens there. They obviously have their reasons. I don't know if they look to that. Maybe they look to the trade market. I'm not sure there's really much out there right now, but they really need to consider a longer-term solution over Niemi if they want to have a better solid backup for Murray, if they want to go on another potential run for another Stanley Cup. The other thing I feel the Penguins really need to get better is they need a little bit more depth at center. Obviously, they lost some players coming off the Stanley Cup win last year. This tends to happen to teams all the time, a combination of age and salary cap issues. Obviously, they lost Nick Bonino. They lost Matt Cullen, who were the main 2 centers they lost. They also lost Chris Kunitz. But overall, I just don't see them having enough depth at the center ice position, which does play the 3rd and 4th line centers can play a major role in the total team defense. And I think they need to go out and try to find another player who would fit that role. Obviously, I think they're missing those 2 guys quite a bit, and it really shows. One prime target I think the Penguins might want to look to might be the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm not sure the Leafs are really going to move in the spot to make a trade right now, but I know in the offseason I had said that I thought with the Leafs having a couple of guys on expiring contracts, one player that the Penguins could use, mainly I think he'd be a good fit reuniting with Phil Kessel would be maybe look to the Leafs to see if they can pry Tyler Bozak off their hands. He would play well with Kessel, so they had that old relationship, chemistry. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, so they don't have to commit to a big dollar figure for long term, which will help their salary cap stay in a good spot. And overall, he is fairly good as a two-way player. I think he'd be a good fit for the Penguins. Not sure if they have what Toronto's looking for, if that would really make sense for both teams, but I do think it'd be something that Pittsburgh should certainly look into. Obviously, their defensemen haven't had a very good start to the season defensively. With all the goals going into net, obviously the goalie and the defensemen are going to get a lot of the blame. Now, if you look at their decor, I really see a lot of upside there. I mean, they finally have a healthy Chris Letang. Justin Schultz has really emerged in the last couple of years to be a top pairing defenseman. You know, you've got Brian Dumoulin who really stepped up in the playoffs, Ian Cole, Olli Mata. The only thing with some of these guys, they're not the strongest on the defensive side of the puck, in my opinion. I think the Penguins could use a little bit more depth at defense. Maybe a veteran, I'm not sure who's out there on the market, but a veteran guy who can play like a number 6-7 role in and out of the lineup and provide a little bit more stability on the defensive side of things would probably go a long way. As they've seen with the most recent championship wins, and even back when they won previously, you need a lot of healthy, strong defensemen to go far in the playoffs. And I think as the season goes along, we're going to see the Penguins add to that. I'm not sure exactly who would be a great fit, but they're going to have to look out there. There's lots of players available who either weren't signed in the offseason or that might be, on the bubble with their current team that might be able to play a bigger role with them. If you're a Penguins fan, I want to know what you think. Do you think they're in trouble? Do you think Penguins fans should panic? What's the deal? I mean, I know it's only one blowout, but obviously it gets people talking and people concerned. So I want to know your thoughts. Give this video a like. Consider subscribing to the channel to keep up with other hockey videos as we discuss all teams here. And thanks very much for watching.